welcome back. We're here to talk about another Kickstarter project. So let's jump right into it and let me introduce my guest. Let me bring him in. His name is Bruno. Okay, I'll let you introduce yourself because I'm
Hi, don't
professional.
worry about it. Hello, yeah, I'm Bruno Catarino. So, like I told you before, I do use I do try to give it an English vibe because otherwise there's no point. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And
Well, before we get give us a brief overview of your Kickstarter project, and then before we will kind of have another before we get right into it.
to what? Sorry, I missed that.
So to start off, why don't you just give us a brief overview of the project and what's it about? What it is about?
This is
This is
going
going
well,
great.
right? Yeah. Yeah. So, Family and Honor is historical drama, like historical fiction. So, the thing that's easy to have on Kickstarter. But yeah, it's basically about this. It's set in 12th century England during the conflict between King Henry II and his son, who kind of rebelled. I mean, actually, all of his sons rebelled against him. That's not important, but yeah. But yeah, it focuses on a baron who is loyal to King Henry and is forced into a dilemma where he has to choose between loyalty to his king or doing something that is bad
Okay.
uh, on today's standards. And well, even then,
So before we get into talking about the book a little more, tell us a little bit about yourself, both as a comic reader and creator. What made you want to jump in and do a project like this?
yeah, I mean, I kind of started writing for film many years ago, and I had a whole, let's call it failed career as a screenwriter, where I was trying to get, stuff made. I did make a few short films as well, and Family and Honor was actually written originally as a screenplay. So I wrote originally a short screenplay for a competition. There's this thing called NYC Midnight, where they give you prompts and then you just write something, and it's just a fun competition where you can get a lot of feedback as well. So that's great. And yeah, I just wrote that. Uh, yeah, I wrote the screenplay, and after I finally started, you know, moving more towards comics and realized that comics is actually a much better way to tell a lot of stories, and this kind of coincided with I kind of stopped reading comics for several years.
Hmm.
And a few years ago, I kind of went back into, reading comics and started reading a lot more indies. And it was around that time that I realized, you know what, I should probably be writing comics because this is a lot more. Uh, I can probably I can make a comic with around the same budget as a short film, and then I have something to, to
Yeah.
sell, to put out there. So that was basically the reason why I started working in comics. And yeah, Family and Honor is one that has been in the bin for a bit, and I just got it out of the bin, wrote it as a comic book, and yeah, there you have it. It's out there now, sort of.
We're getting it out there. We're
We're
getting
getting
it
it
out
out
there.
there.
So you told us, giving us a background on, what's it about. What inspired you to write, this story? Or I guess originally as a short film, and then, transitioning it over to a comic.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had a better answer, like, like some inspiring answer of how I got into the idea. Honestly, it was because it was this competition and they give you very specific prompts. So the prompts was, I can't remember even what was the prompts, but it was something, it was definitely historical drama, and it was something to do with, uh, Middle Ages or a baron or a king or something like that. So uh, there was definitely some prompt that kind of made me, write it for the competition. So yeah, it's not a particularly inspiring story, but I do like the result of what I got in the end, what the story is. I think it in this current form of the comic book, I think it goes into themes and it gets a little bit emotional at one point, and I think it got to a I'm really pleased with the way that it turned out, even though it started as just prompts.
So, um, it sounds like there's a lot of historical, you know, background. Did you do any research to, you know, at least get like, the setting and how things, you know, operated back then?
A little bit. So more when I wrote the screenplay originally, because yeah, I was writing specifically in that setting. I didn't know exactly which period I was going to do, and yeah, I can't even remember. I can't remember exactly how I got into 12th century and why that conflict. I mean, if you go around looking for stories inspired in that specific period of history, there isn't much because it's not super interesting. It was like a rebellion that lasted like for a couple of years. So yeah, the period itself is not like interesting. I think it's more about how I picked up that and just use it as a backdrop. And the
Mhm.
story is not exactly related with the historical events. It's fully fictional. It's just set in that setting.
Okay. And
So yeah, I could.
how did you?
Sorry.
Oh,
So
go ahead.
this basically to say that I could make up a lot of stuff because I was not following
Yeah,
history
yeah.
strictly. Yeah.
And how did, given that it's not, based historical, how was it easier to like develop the characters, or kind of, you still had to stay within a certain lane, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, I don't know, man. This things take so long to get made. Especially this one took even longer because it was a screenplay before it was a comic script. But um, I don't know. I kind of wanted Philip, the main character, to be um, I don't want to say woke, but in for that period, he would be extremely woke, right? He would
Enlightened,
have. Sorry.
enlightened.
Yeah, I think enlighten is a good word, right? And I mean, it's not even. It's very hard for me to claim that he was enlightened because for me, his dilemma is like common sense. It's like any normal person in this situation would like be. No, I cannot do this thing my king is asking me to do. It's like it's wrong in so many levels. And but yeah, I kind of wanted the character to have that enlightenment and to be like that one person who everybody's saying, but oh, but the loyalty to the king, or if you don't do this you're a traitor. And he's like, he wants is divided between actually, for him it's actually an important part to keep his honor, that he honors this commitment to his king, but at the same time, what is being asked to do goes against every single one of his principles, and it means, I mean, this is not a massive spoiler because it's in the description in the Kickstarter page. He is asked to kill one of his nephews, who is a 5-year-old. So it's pretty much uh, this so that he's not a hostage to an enemy. He kind of has to do like this senseless act to kind of uh, scare his enemies, or in this case his enemy, like his brother-in-law, to scare him into or to basically make him, um, how do you say this? Stop being a traitor, because otherwise he will kill, his other children. He's basically a show off force of see, I did this for this one child, I can do it for the others. So it's very much that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like I went on
And
a complete tangent, and I'm not sure if I answered your question.
oh, I whatever you answered was perfectly fine because I forget the question now too. So,
Sorry, I went on a big tangent.
tell us a little bit about the rest of the creative team that you're working with and how you kind of connected, were able to connect with them or found them.
Yeah, sure. So I hate Facebook as a social network, but it's great to find collaborators, and that's kind of how I found everybody that I collaborate in this book. So Jaka, and again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but yeah, I found him on one of the groups. He had this. Well, basically the style you see, but the color had like a lot of texture, and it's like this gorgeous style. And I just thought, yeah, it's perfect for this role, for this uh,
Project.
for this project. Yeah, this was now the filmmaker part, thinking about actors, and never mind. uh, yeah, I mean, his art style is perfect for this, and that's kind of why I chose him. And then James, who did the lettering, is someone who he had done a logo for me for my first project, Prey, but I hadn't actually worked with him on actual lettering, and I've been wanting to do it for a while. So it just became, a thing of, hey, this is great project for, to work with James in in this way for the first time. So yeah, and then variant covers and all of that, it was people that I had worked with before. And yeah.
So this is not your first foray into comics, am I correct?
uh, no, I mean, I actually started working on it a long time ago, but yeah, I've made several comics in between. So I've made, this is my fourth one shot, and we actually have like a reward tier that basically has all four one shots. And I've
Mhm.
done a few issues of a couple of series as well.
Okay. Um, so this isn't your first Kickstarter, I'm guessing also.
No, I lost count how many I've done. Maybe, I don't know, five, six,
Okay.
uh, seven. I don't know. It's been a few. Yeah, it's been a few. But small audiences, and still trying to get out there. So there's still. I feel like every Kickstarter is always a bit of a struggle to get stuff out there, and I do think that being historical fiction, it's probably a genre that a lot of people on Kickstarter are not as um, uh, interested in. I know a few people
Mhm.
that are like, oh yeah, we need more of this. This is great. But yeah, I think it's probably not the most mainstream one. So anyone who's into historical fiction and thinks that there isn't enough of it, go grab it.
Well, using that as a jump off point, what are you offering on the Kickstarter for people who want to pledge?
Yeah, I mean, there's both digital and physical. So the usual, there's three variant covers, so you can basically get any of the three variants. You have the main cover, which is an homage to, we call them giants, from
Mhm.
Kieran Gillen and Stephanie Hans. So the first time I saw that cover, I was like, "This is gorgeous. I want to have an homage to this at some point." And this was the perfect project to do it. There's a variant cover which is a virgin cover by Erwin J. Rosa, which, again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing right, but he did several covers for me, all of them amazing. This one is the best so far, in my opinion. It's just gorgeous. And then there's a third cover, which is also an homage to a film poster, and it's to The Seventh Seal from Ingmar Bergman. So yeah, it's so there's basically three covers. You can get all three in one if you want as well. You can get, like I said before, I've done four one shots before, and you can get all of them in a single bundle, both digital and physical. And then I have I have a couple of mystery box kind of thing where one of them, if you cannot decide which variant cover you want, I'll just send you one of them randomized, so whichever, so you can actually get the variant cover for cheaper
Hmm.
if you get that. And you have one where you get some extra items as well with the pledge. And yeah, then have more premium things that offers stuff like the process pages. What else? Inked pages if you want to print them and color them, or if you want to color them, on Photoshop. So you have that
Hmm.
as well. Uh, yeah, some wallpapers. So yeah, that would be like the more premium tiers. That's
Okay.
kind of it.
So, going from screenwriting to comic book writing, uh, what's I guess with it, what was the biggest challenge and what was the biggest thing you learned?
Right. Comics don't move. No, I think that was really the main thing, and it's that I was used to write for moving images, and now I was writing for static images,
Mhm.
and I think that's the biggest shift is how do you write that, even in the language you use. In screenwriting, you tend to uh, have you know have characters doing something, while in comics you usually have them in the middle or uh,
A snapshot,
sorry.
a snapshot.
Yeah, you have a snapshot, so they are kind of doing, they are already in the middle of doing something, and it's yeah, it's just a different way to think about how you put that on paper. And I also find that on because with screenwriting, a lot of what you write is not actually it's mainly a selling tool. You're writing a screenplay to uh, you know submit a project or something like that. You need to convince someone to greenlight that project, so you need to write it as a way to have someone interested,
Hmm.
not so much as a tool to actually make the thing. uh, I mean, at least at indie level, it tends to, yeah. Uh, while with a comic script, it's very much about you're going to make that thing. So I know who I'm going to be working with. If I already know how they work, I try to write it in a way that's more according to how I know they like to work, or how much detail they like versus less detail, that sort of thing. And I try to make it much more conversational. It's not so much as this happens. It's more like, this happens, but because of this, or I'm thinking this, or I might be a bit more, as you would go, like, try not to be too verbose, but if you're talking with a collaborator and saying why you want something, I might put that in the script because that cuts, like an interaction over there. They know why that's important or something like that because it's in the script. So yeah, I don't know. I'm that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
I totally get that. it, um, so yeah. Is there anything else that maybe you want to make sure that people know about the book or the campaign that maybe we haven't touched on so far?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's at this point is 73% funded, if I'm not mistaken. So we're still with 9 days to go. So it's not, a lot. And it's probably going to be close, but I think we're going to get there. But yeah, I mean, we definitely need people who like historical fiction to go back it. Oh, one thing I didn't say is that we have an indie comics bundle. So right now, I think we are at 4 comics that's going to be added with every pledge, and it unlocks one more backer, we unlock another comic, and 11 more backers, we unlock a second, well, a fifth comic.
Hmm.
So there's more to be added. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
so, what, who, as a writer, I mean, and from any medium they can be from, uh, who inspires you, or who do you look to for, to see what they're doing and try
yeah.
to up your game, I guess.
Oh man. So I think biggest inspiration in terms of writing and in terms of the way that he approached themes and stuff like that, I would have to say Rod Serling from Twilight
Hmm.
Zone. So he wrote Twilight Zone, Planet of the Apes, the original one, stuff like that. And I really like how he adds social themes and uh, usually ends with twists that kind of make you think, that sort of thing. I really like that. It's something that I did a lot closely on an anthology series that I did a while ago called Cinematic Figments. So it's very
Hmm.
much that vibe, Twilight Zone sort of thing. But yeah, I think Rod Serling really is probably like the top influence, really. I really like Jeff Lemire if we are talking about, comics.
Hmm.
And I think there's a little bit of that. He has that more, I don't know, more emotional in a way. His comics tend to have like that sort of thing. And I think this comic has a little bit of that. I think I actually compare it as, I actually use it a lot as one of the direct influences of this. So yeah, I think those are probably the two top ones at this point. Yeah.
Cool. So, as we wrap up here, you want to give uh, a final pitch for the campaign and where people can find more from you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, can I be cheeky and squeeze in something else?
Whatever you want.
I'm going to be very cheeky here. So yeah, Family and Honor right now is on Kickstarter. You can back it right now, and that's the priority. Absolutely. If you like historical fiction, definitely go back it. Right now, don't wait. We still have 9 days, but the sooner you do it, the less stressed out and anxious I'll be. So thank you for that. But the other thing I'll say is that I have on pre-launch, I have one other campaign, which is if you like the Odyssey, and if you're excited about Christopher Nolan's movie, but would like something else in that world coming out this year, I have a sci-fi adaptation of the Odyssey coming out as well. Search for Space Odyssey on Kickstarter and follow it. It's coming out in May. Well, it will be on live on Kickstarter in May. So yeah, I'm
Mhm.
just squeezing this in. But yeah, Family and Honor definitely priority.
So, do you try to have, something going, on a regular basis, or do you have a set number of campaigns you like to try to do a year to keep it more manageable?
I don't know. I think it's very chaos, so it's not like it's super planned.
Hmm.
It's I like to have a couple of campaigns created on Kickstarter to start, getting followers. Because when you launch, if you have a certain number of followers, it's always, easier to hit your goals. Um, so yeah, but I'm working in multiple projects all the time. I mean, I was working. I started working on an anthology that I'm looking for, some to work with other people in that anthology. And at the same time, I had a crazy idea for a project in the same world of another book that I launched yesterday. And I was working on the outline of that yesterday. So I'm running a Kickstarter. I'm preparing for a second Kickstarter, and I'm writing like three different things at the same time. So chaos.
Yeah. Hey, better than better better than nothing, I guess.
That is true. That is true.
All right. Well, we over at Comic Watch will continue to follow Family and Honor in our weekly roundup. And thank you for contacting me um, over Blue Sky and letting me know about it. And glad we were able to get it in. We'll definitely uh, also follow the other campaign once it launches. So. Yeah, but you can check Family and Honor and a lot of other great projects that are currently campaigning over on Comic Watch. Every Saturday at noon is when the post will launch or it goes live. And so, yeah, we'll be in touch and maybe in a couple weeks we'll get back together and chat about the your other book when it goes live.
I'm perfectly happy to talk about the Space Odyssey. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, thanks and have a great day.
You too. Thank you.